Hey man, how's it going?
Not too bad. It's starting to get colder and darker faster. Winter in Canada.
hmm And yeah, welcome back everybody to Bite My Shiny Metal Cast, episode 10 of the Hulu season, the last season here. Last episode. Otherwise, can you believe it? We're done. We did it all through the whole season here.
Yep,
So
Hulu can suck it.
Hulu indeed can do a lot of things, but they cannot do the show very well. Unfortunately, it just did not. Most of these episodes were okay. Now, what is your overall thoughts of this episode of Otherwise? I mean,
I
I
liked
think
it,
we
but
both agree it's okay. Yeah,
as a
yeah.
like a series finale
Potential series finale because
potential.
at the time maybe they
Yeah.
didn't know, right? Yeah,
Oh, the
yeah,
thing is, at this point, but it had already been renewed for another season
yeah.
slash split
Now,
in two,
yeah,
right? Another
yeah, yeah,
20
yeah.
episodes that already got. And I think they did that before the season even came out. So
Sure.
to me it just doesn't feel like it, and
Yeah.
it's not because like, oh, we already were guaranteed it. It didn't feel the same way, like other, no, what was it, Meanwhile, like that kind
Meanwhile,
of had a
meanwhile, it felt
finite
really
ending
heartfelt.
kind of thing, right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
heartfelt.
yeah.
What was the one before that, the comedy
Overclockwise, overclockwise.
Overclockwise? Yeah, that one I
Yeah,
like too, because it kind
that
of
one was
like
okay. Yeah.
it kind of predicted the future, that Fry and Leela would end up together and be happy, minus a few slaps here and there. And then before
Yeah.
that, it was the Over the Wild Green Yonder, of them going into the unknown but being together.
Into the Wild Green
Awesome.
Yonder. Yep.
And then
Yep.
before that, it was the
hmm
Devils Are the Idle Playhands. Oh crap, what's it called? That's, the
Devil's
words
hands
are
are idle
there. Yeah,
playthings.
thank you, thank you. And I like that one too, because
Yes.
again, it gave the whole thing
Yeah.
that Fry was trying hard, and Leela acknowledged that, right?
Yes.
And
That's true.
I will say, especially through this Hulu run, they've really kind of butchered their relationship quite a bit. They butchered a lot of
hmm
relationships in the Hulu one, but every so often they would poke it at like Fry and Leela were a thing. Oh no, they're not a thing. Oh, she's drunk all the time. Leela felt like Leela in
Yeah.
this one. The guy, I can't remember his name because he does a pseudonym for his name. It's like
Jim
something else.
Keeler.
Yeah, yeah. He knows
The
how to write
writer.
these
Yeah.
characters because he's been writing them for over 20 years now at this point, and he does almost 20 years, and he's been doing a great job in it. So all the characters felt
Right.
very themselves. Bender felt perfectly Bender, because, and I also love the joke too with Leela. But you're
Bender
oh
one
no,
hand.
with Amy, yeah. But you're
Yeah.
40% in, and then she would hit him, clap clap, whatever.
Yeah. She
I
does like
did
the
like,
beat.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's little
Okay.
things that felt
Yeah.
the
That's true.
characters. Their characters were written the way that they were written
Yeah.
back in the Comedy Central, back in even the Fox run,
Yeah.
and
Very,
in the
very
movies.
early. Like even the first episode, right, with the wire.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I
yeah.
love
Well,
that. I love
let me
that.
do our short synopsis here, so we
Yeah,
can just get through
just
this
overall, I
episode.
would say yes, I liked it.
Yeah, and we can talk about it. Yeah. So, yeah, the main thing is, of course, yeah, this is treated as a finale, so it's very, very, finite, right? Like it seems like very final. Basically have the crew, just the original trio. They're hurling through space. There's some issue. Apparently, the ship has had some issue inside of it, like a wire system or something. But they end up crashing into the Planet Express headquarters, and the ship is just apparently cannot be fixed by any means. So they have to finally get rid of it. And the whole crew pays their respects by sending it to a ship graveyard, which is like this like time portal
Yeah,
kind of like
I have
alternate
issues with this. Yeah,
universe
alternate
plasma thing.
universes. Yeah, alternate universes.
I know. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. So they bring it there, and as they're saying their goodbyes, Zap Brannigan and Kiff are there to do kind of like the eulogy for it.
Good
So
to
we
see
have like a
Kip and
large
Zap.
right. So we have like a large portion of the cast. Scruffy's there too, obviously,
Good to see him too.
and yeah. So they're all there and they're doing it, and then as they're just saying their final goodbyes to the ship, Fry has a sudden, I guess we'll call it like a big, like a memory blast of some sort, a brain blast of some sort, and he starts seeing parts of not just his timeline, but like multiple timelines, and we see this like because like his hair is changed in different scenes, and like it's black from like the Parabox episode, and there are things that are not quite there, but there are all episode
Yeah,
like
there
scenes
was.
from episodes from different seasons, and
I meant to go back frame by frame for that, but because I
yeah,
saw a couple of pictures on Reddit and stuff like that. There was
yeah,
one
there's
with
like
Leela,
futuristic
Fry, and a
stuff as
kid,
well.
something
Yep,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
and Seymour's alive with Bender with ears. Like it's a very strange little scene. But anyways,
yeah, I'd
this
have to look through
causes
that.
yeah, this causes Fry to have a not an aneurysm, but basically just
He
passes out.
passes out. Yeah.
He gets knocked out from all these memories. So anyway, he's trapped. He's left on board, and as everybody's leaving, but apparently when the ship is going to be dropped into this, there's no coming back. So they realize, mainly Leela realizes that Fry's not there. So a bunch of them run back in, leaving Zap, Kif, and Scruffy outside on the main deck. And as it goes in there, it cuts to black as soon as the ship falls with all these characters inside. When it comes back, it turns out that they were all safe, and we're led to believe that this crew, like the people that we're now following, are the original crew from our timeline. But over the course of it, Fry decides like, okay, I need to actually do something and all this kind of stuff. And we kind of get reminiscent scenes of Meanwhile. So he's wearing like a similar suit. He tells Bender he's going to ask Leela to marry him. He goes back to the Vampire State Building.
I
We
just
get to
want to
see
buy
the
a plot of
vampire
land
again.
Yeah.
Right.
Just make it vampire themed. It's not
Yeah.
it's not like a theme park for vampires. It's just like gothic, and it's just called the Vampire State Building.
State Building. It's just like this giant tall building or whatever. So yeah, he even has like the vampire like person up there who's helping him, like the server. Anyway, Leela shows up. They're having like a normal one as if nothing would ever change. But then Fry starts to have visions of something else happening and he passes out again. So there's clearly something going on in his mind and he can't quite figure out what it was. It's like he's done this before. They talk with the rest of the crew and specifically Zoidberg, who's saying, oh, this must be just deja vu. But no, there must be something else to it. So anyway, Fry and Leela and all of them, they're trying to still figure this out. But wouldn't you know it, the professor, because the ship is destroyed, right? Ship is gone. He's actually designed this really cool new sleek looking ship that's like basically able to travel from all over space in a matter of seconds.
Think like an
faster
Apple.
than the actual ship.
Yeah, like an Apple upgrade
Yes,
where
it
everything's
looks like
like
an
sleek
Apple.
looking. It's white.
Yes.
It's like shiny. That's
Yes,
the
and
best way to describe it. I
awesome.
actually like the design.
Yeah.
I like the design too. Yeah.
It looks awesome. Yeah, like that ship is really, really cool looking. So anyway, that's what they have it there. So the nice thing about this ship as well is that it also tends to have a cloaking device, which we find out a little bit after. And Fry,
more importantly, it has butt warmers for all those people who have chronic
electric
cold
butt.
butts.
Yes, chronic cold butt. Yes, thank you, Leela. So as they're flying through there and everything, they also find out through, I think, Morbo and Linda pop in and mention that there's also been some notices of quote unquote ghost ship somewhere floating around, which we're led to believe is something to do with the little graveyard that we've just left. So anyway, after their delivery, Leela, Fry, and Bender end up running into Zap Brannigan and all this kind of stuff, and so in a certain area, because Fry wanted to go see the old ship again, because he swears there must be something to do with the multiverse inside his head. It must be something to do with that area. So they fly back there, and the Nimbus is there with Kif and Zap Brannigan, but as he won't let them pass, so they turn on their cloaking thing and they go through anyway, and they break in. And as they're there, both ships are being attacked by some random thing. We don't know why. We can't see it because they're both of them are invisible. So finally, the Nimbus goes down from a shot, but it wasn't them. And so the pod, one of the escape pods from the Nimbus comes out, and so Leela saves Zap and Kif from dying, but the rest of the crew fall into the mass plasma, whatever. It doesn't matter. And then at the very end, they're being shot again by some unknown force, and so Zap marries Leela and Fry, thus actually confirming that they are married right before one more missile shoots them and blows up the new ship. But it turns out the missile came from our original crew, our original team in the original Planet Express crew, or original Planet Express ship that had been remade while they were inside there, right? Being created or being redone with like new wires and all these kinds of things to make it working again. And they all cheer because they didn't know who that ship was, because they're in another universe. And it finishes off with Fry basically telling Leela like he saw a picture of them old, which is also another reference to Meanwhile. Yeah. And they leave in the ship. The ship flies through space and kind of fades into it with a song playing over. I'm taking that to mean that they're leaving the universe they were just in. They're heading back into their own universe.
No,
but that's just
there's no portal, there's no Zlorp, there's nothing that indicates that.
I think they faded into the other universe, like their universe or something. That's what I gathered from that. But anyway, that's how it ends. So
no, there's still a
very loose thing for it, but yeah, they they were essentially the ghost ship of the whole episode or whatever. So we actually didn't follow the main crew.
Nope.
Kind of the same as the all the way down episode, I think. If that's kind of like your thoughts on or your theory on that episode as well. The one with the Matrix thing where the professor creates like them and then digitally
right,
gets more and more. Yeah.
Right, people love that episode.
And then Fry's
weird.
sent into or not Fry, sorry, Bender sent into it and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. So, yeah. So anyways, otherwise, well, let's just talk about it in relation to our predictions. So I listened to the predictions again, obviously. We knew it was going to be a finale thing. We knew it had something to do with Fry and Leela due to the fact that our insider person thing that we had read earlier had said something about that. And Mitchell, I should say, you came up with this idea, and you had heard from other people and all this stuff about the idea of the other, which is what Nibbler has referenced. I've never really tested the theory that.
I wish it was that one.
Yeah, I've never attested to the theory that Leela is really worth more than that. I wanted that to be the case, but I never really thought they would amount to anything. He just says the other as in like, oh, this must be the person who's also mentioned in the history books. That's what I always assumed it would be, but maybe there'd be more importance to it. However, we did mention as well, like maybe there is something to do with like having a child. And as you referenced, there is actually a multiverse era of the two of them with a child, and it looks like a son with like purple hair. So it's a son of both Fry and Leela, in some other multiverse somewhere.
He has Fry's hair horn.
Does he have Fry's hair horn as well?
Yeah, it's Fry's hairstyle, yeah.
Yeah, the hairstyle, but it's purple, right? Because of his
Leela.
wife, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, I thought this episode was there's some pretty good jokes.
I like
honestly,
the jokes.
I think Zoidberg takes it for me. I think in a couple of instances, I think he just has a pretty good one-liners. Scruffy has a line that made me laugh pretty hard actually when he says Dr. Zoidberg.
Yeah,
that
was kind of out of left field. I love that. Leela,
that was pretty good.
Amy, Dr. Zoidberg. Yeah, that was pretty good.
So that was pretty good. I thought it was a little much. I did like the references to the previous episode. So like, as you mentioned, like Amy saying, oh, you're 40% tin, and she hits him. And the professor kept on going on about like the perfect amount of wire.
Different lengths of wire.
Stuff. Which is of course a reference to the first episode. So yeah, I don't know. I thought it was fine. Your thoughts being
I liked it, but like it's just another one of those endings. It's like, did they get back to their universe? Did they not? It wasn't like, oh yeah, they made it back and they're fine. There was no like, it's just one of those open ending things. It's just like this one was a lot better than the other ones, but still it's just like, yeah, there's not really much of a solid ending that where all the answers are there for the episode.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking, so like even when Overclockwise was made, right? In that episode, everything is kind of back to normal already, right? Like Bender was like super smart, but then he kind of went back to normal. He made that last little prediction to give to Fry and Leela, which is how it ends.
Yeah.
But then the following season, like when it comes out again, because they thought this would be your finale, but then because they made that, but then they bring it back again. Everything was already kind of in place that they could start a new season, but you're right. This one doesn't. They just fade through space.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a very strange situation for it. So if they are coming back, which we've established.
100%, yeah.
So are
I
they
mean, it
just
could be canceled halfway through. We don't know, but it was greenlit for another season, which awesome. I like Futurama, but this last two seasons have kind of left a bad taste in my mouth.
I agree. And okay. So in that sense, then, so what is there anything about this episode that you're just not a fan of? Maybe they could. Is it because it was kind of honestly my only thing is that it's kind of lackluster. It's kind of lackluster. There's not a lot. Yeah. It's kind of boring in some regard. Like I love the multiverse thing to it because it's Fry
I'm so
and it's
sick
focused
and tired
on Fry.
Of multiverses, man. I'm so sick and tired of multiverses.
But it's Futurama's multiverse, right? It's like it's
true.
And it's not even the multiverse. It's like the timeline. It's like his timeline, right? So I just thought that was kind of cool. There are some questions
that I have because they've already established that there are parallel universes, but the only one that they know of is the cowboy one. So what is the difference between a parallel universe and an alternate universe?
It's the same.
Okay, so then they've already previously established that there's only one, but they also have visited other one. Oh, but the professor created the other ones.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. There's a continuity that works with that.
That's kind of in there. But is that only accessible through the box, which they then got rid of, right? So that was another thing. I think it's just they didn't really that's kind of a one-off gag from the episode that you're referring to when Fry goes.
Maybe.
Actually, the very last episode we did on our regular review, right, when he goes to see it, and they're all the cowboy universe, or they're all waving at each other.
The Lucy Liu episode.
Right,
yes.
at the edge of the universe. I think they've just, they kind of ignored that, and the idea of parallel universes, multi-universe, whatever. It's just kind of what it is. So I think this is just kind of one of those things. However, I loved all the little images of like all the universe things in it. Like I do really like that.
There was a couple, wasn't there?
Yeah. Well, we got another Easter egg to Disenchantment, which was like whatever. But then we also got to see.
They're really pushing that show.
I know, even though it's done.
They also a C+ at best. I'm sorry. Disenchanted.
I thought it was a B. I thought it was fine. I thought it was quite humorous, actually. And I do like the full on. I love that they followed on with the story. I thought that was actually quite good.
Very different from the Futurama and Simpson way of writing a show. Yes. Yeah.
Sure, but and I also did like the voice cast. But in any case, I also did enjoy like literally seeing there are scenes that we recognize from the actual show, like from the past episodes that you and I've even reviewed at this point.
Yeah, continuity stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not Fry. It's an alternate Fry.
Oh,
a Fry
yeah,
with
the
dark hair.
Mongoose Fry. Yeah.
But it's not him
Mongoose.
either, because the bender he's with isn't gold. It's a different Fry. And so it's just it's cool to it's kind of cool to see these kinds of things. So that's what I really enjoyed about it. I'm just like I pause it, I look at it, I'm like, oh, I'm a giant nerd for this stuff. I just love it. But overall, the story is it's okay. It's just okay. I think Meanwhile absolutely surpasses it, way more so than that. And
so would this be overall, at the bottom of the barrel for your series is over finales?
Yeah, the finale things. So I was actually wondering that myself.
Because you don't like Overclock. You don't like that
Overclockwise? I think it's funny, and I think there's a few things in it I do enjoy, but it doesn't feel finite to me, right? Because it wasn't. Right. But it was supposed to be made so, right? But I thought if that was the final episode of the series, I think that would have been kind of lackluster too. This one feels similar, in a similar vein, but I know that it's coming back again, so it doesn't feel like a finale to me. That's the thing. So that's why I'm kind of torn between thinking that.
I think Overclocked. We did, at that point we didn't know if it was coming back. It was still up in the air, and then maybe within a month or two after that, it was like, oh yeah, we got another season. We're like, oh okay, cool, awesome.
Did it? I'm pretty sure.
I can't remember, but I can't remember. Who knows? The case, yeah. But sure. This one feels less like heartstring tugging compared to the other ones.
Yeah, like Wild Green Yonder definitely feels like that, because it was a film though as well, right? We got to see this whole storyline conclude with the end of that and everything. The idle hands, Devil's Hands are idle playthings, like that's obviously very heart tugging, and that one was hilarious. Meanwhile is still the most emotionally, like the best emotional payoff I think I've seen in the whole show. Honestly, I thought that one was really good. Yeah, Overclockwise is just meh. It is what it is. This one feels similar to it, but I do like more of the emotional impact of Fry. Fry actually is not only important, but he kind of drives the story, and we actually see more of that like I love seeing the Futurama as it was, like up until this point. This is what we've seen with Futurama. So
what would you want to have to change this episode then? It could be a little more fireworksy with some stuff. You said it was lackluster.
Yeah, I suppose like, yeah, well, you know what? It feels like it could have, as a lot of episodes, I think you've mentioned this, is that, and both of us have mentioned this, is that so the endings don't really pay off by the end, right?
No,
they
God, no,
little off.
That was the theme or pattern of this season.
Yeah,
it was just like they all had kind of loosey-goosey endings, like just
and they never reference it again. This kind of thing.
Like, honestly, if the endings were desserts, these were all like, here's a cracker that might be flavored.
Sure. Yeah. The main thing I think this episode could have benefited from, honestly, is a second half. Like make it a 40-minute thing. I think that would have been a lot better as a finale, because then they could have fleshed out more.
Right?
Yeah, I know. And that was another thing too. Like, so last quote unquote season, that doesn't have a finale. So this must be the finale. So it's not season 12 and season 11. It must be just one season long, right?
I think you and I have argued that we hate this new only 10 episodes, maybe 8 episode thing. I think you and I have argued that like back in when like, TV was an actual thing and live and thriving, everything was about half a year long, like 24 episodes or something like that, like 52
20 to 24 episodes approximately.
But that's what this was. It was 20 episodes that they split into 2 seasons. So it was just one package Like, here, you can try and stretch this out as far as you can. 20 episodes, two 10-episode seasons. Yeah, that's 2 years worth of stuff. Yeah,
and then one major season finale, even though we know we're coming back at this point. But
and that's the thing, we're getting another
or series finale,
2 seasons of 10 episodes each, so that's just another package. And like, I understand things cost a lot more because people are idiots and want more money than they're worth, which, go for it, yes. But you're as a customer, which is what we are, we're viewers, we're customers, we want to watch these things, so we would pay for these things to watch them. Why should I do that when the quality is lower and the quantity is less?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. It's also like even the Comedy Central run, at least they had the audacity not the audacity, but even they had like the respect of their customers say like, yes, this is going to be one season, but we're splitting it in half for the year. This is part A, part B, which is what I thought, like you and I were thinking it's probably going to happen again, but they actually know they're calling it seasons.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. This was season 9, even though season 8 and 9 should be put together for season 8.
Yeah.
Something like that. Because looking on Wikipedia, season 7 was The Bots and the Bees was the first one, and then it had a part 2 all the way down to Meanwhile. So was it a year apart? It was a year apart though.
Yeah.
So it was 13 episodes and 13 episodes.
Summers. Yep.
So at least they even gave us more.
26 episodes a season.
Yeah.
Right? Just split into 2 parts. So that would have been fine. 20 episodes a season would have been fine. So I don't know why they wouldn't have just called it that. But anyway, we're getting off track.
We can go on about that a long time.
It doesn't really matter. But if they do the same thing, they're probably going to do the same thing next time as well, because that's kind of what Hulu will do. But in any case, okay. Now, in our predictions as well. Okay, go for it. No, go for it.
So I did ask you what would you change. Here's what I would change.
Sure.
So because the whole thing that Fry had all these memories blasted at him, right? Well, guess what? Fry is a special human being. Why is he special, Anthony?
No Delta brainwave.
No Delta brainwave. So that could have been played in there. They could have had Nibbler do something. Again, I'm not trying to go for the whole Leela and Fry's child is the next thing. Yeah. The other thing. Yeah. It's just that Nibbler could have explained this to us. Yeah, it's a little what's the word when like they're telling, not showing, the exposition. But then they could have gone off of that and not done this whole alternate like Planet Express crew or something like that. I don't know. But I would
they could have had our Fry. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was just going to say
that's it. That's just
our Fry.
Our Fry is like, why am I seeing this? Oh, Fry's because of your Delta brainwave issue. Yeah. I already doesn't. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it could have even been like, so Fry was trapped on that ship. Maybe they all forgot about him, and he fell in with the ship by himself, and he's the one traveling to all these different places in the timeline.
Exactly.
And that would have been more like given off like the future. I was like, oh, you remember this, but it's kind of like central to the plot.
Yes,
and then you can have that.
Fry could have fought his way back. His way back. He says like, I've seen what my life would be otherwise without you, or something like that. Yeah. Like just kind of like my life otherwise would have been this way if I did this or something like that, right?
Exactly. And you could reference every single other. Yeah, every other single finale if you wanted.
You could have brought back other universes. The hippie one. You could have brought back the one where they all have no eyes.
Right. The Lego one.
We could have seen the glorious Golden Bender again.
Yep.
All
of our predictions throughout this whole season could have been coming true. Yeah.
The whole thing too was that during the Farnsworth Parabox episode, we saw what would have happened with Fry's and Leela's relationship. They could have had shown that yes, they have a family or something like that, like 2 kids or whatever it is, and Fry could have been jealous, or he would have said something stupid or something like that. And then once he got back to Leela, he said, "I saw all my life and stuff like this, and I want this." And they could have moved on with that.
Right, and that could how it could have ended there. Yeah, exactly. So we could have seen more with the universes, because it seemed like that was something that was in Fry's head, but in the end it didn't really matter.
No, exactly.
Didn't really matter, right?
Exactly.
It kind of just
that's how the season has been.
The thing.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
So this is all in hindsight.
And as I was going to say as well. So in the predictions video that we did before, right, a few months ago, you had said like, okay, I'm going to break it. This time I'm going to go 9 out of 10. And I was like, ooh, I was going to say 8, but. So I'm guessing you're probably not sticking to your 9.
You know what? The thing is, like, I've watched this. I watched this twice yesterday. I did like it, and I want to say that it's one of the. I don't know if it's the best one of this season, because I still love the temp, but I want to say it was on par with that. And I don't remember what I said for the temp. Did I say 7 or 8 for that one?
I think we said 7.
All right.
We say 7 or 7 or maybe 10 actually, or not 10. Sorry, 8. Yeah, I think we said 7 or 8 maybe for the temp. Yeah,
I'll give it the same
thoroughly
rating as
enjoyed
that
the
one.
temp, but
I think it's on par with that. It might be a little better, but the thing with the Futurama, a lot of stuff that I like because it ages like fine wine, so to speak. So maybe next year, but when I do like a quick crash course and watch all these episodes and go, oh God, I hope they don't do it like this, I might go, you know what, I actually did like otherwise. But I don't know, man. So I'll give it at least a minimum of 7 out of 10. It can go as high as 8.5 for me, depending on my mood. I think just, the bad taste of this season, I think everything's just a little lower than it should be. But this one and the temp, I would say, are probably the best out of this season. So whatever I gave the temp, I'll give this one. I can't remember. I apologize.
Yeah, I'll give a solid 7 as well. And that's even with like overclockwise, I think I also gave a 7. So like as of right now, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. This is new. We've just talked about it. This is like just fresh off the boat kind of thing for us. And then in the future, as we move on for it, we'll take a little bit of a break because we've been doing Futurama reviews now for like 4 or 5 months straight. So
yeah, we're sick and tired of Futurama. I love it. I'll watch it till the day I die.
But we're going to take a small break after this anyway, and we'll come back and you and I can do one more full through of part 3 of what we talked about with the Hulu revival, and we can see about like, did it actually get better, right? Because that was the question. Will it get better? Did it get better? And we can see. Yeah, and we have I think we have things to say, especially with the hindsight, as you mentioned, with being able to see the whole 10 episodes now. It's not like, one off, this was kind of bad, this one was pretty good. No. Now we have them all, and now we can think about it, and we can look at all 20 even. So, any case, I think that would be the case for otherwise. And yeah, not much else to say. It's worth a watch. As a finale, it's probably a little lackluster, but of course it is coming back, but not for another year and a bit or something. So, who knows? Long time from there. I think 2026 is what you said. It would be coming back like way back in the predictions episode. So whatever the case, hopefully it comes back better and more powerful. And we will be coming back as well with our normal reviews very soon. Just give us a couple of weeks to refresh. But in any case, thanks, Mitchell. And great doing this with you. Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.